She grew up believing she was the daughter of superheroes until she discovered her real father was Lobo, the most violent bounty hunter in the entire galaxy. Now let's jump into the video and find out who is Crush. Her arrival on Earth played out like a distorted reflection of Superman's legendary origin, a lone infant tearing through the atmosphere inside of her pod. But the similarities ended there. Instead of landing in a quiet Kansas field, her pod slammed into the middle of the Burning Man festival. Among the festival goers were David and Lisa Rojas, a young couple who stumbled upon the strange craft and even stranger child inside. They took the child without hesitation and raised her as if she were their own, naming her Xiomara. Growing up, Xiomara couldn't ignore the obvious. She didn't resemble her parents or anyone else she had ever met. When she finally asked why, her parents told her she was special, the daughter of superheroes. The idea thrilled her, letting her imagine she was destined for greatness, maybe even something like Superman himself. But life with the Rojases was far from heroic. Their addictions kept the family in a constant state of instability, forcing them to pack up and relocate whenever debts piled up or dangerous people started closing in. They lived out of cheap motels, run-down apartments, and eventually a trailer, always trying to stay one step ahead of the consequences of their choices. Yet, even in the middle of that chaos, one thing never wavered: their love for Xiomara. They protected her the only ways they knew how, shielding her from the worst of their world and doing everything they could to give her a sense of family, even when their own lives were falling apart. Everything changed the moment she stepped out of the store and caught a breaking news broadcast showing Superman locked in combat with Lobo, the infamous intergalactic bounty hunter. The footage stopped her cold. She couldn't help but notice she looked just like the man on TV. In that instant, the truth hit her, shattering everything she thought she knew about herself. Shock turned to betrayal, and she raced home, demanding answers, accusing her parents of lying. They tried to reassure, insisting that Lobo's cruelty didn't define her future. But overwhelmed and furious, she stormed out of the trailer. Distracted and vulnerable, she wandered the streets, drawing the attention of a group of men who began to harass her. That's when her Czarnian instincts kicked in for the first time. She unleashed her rage on the men, effortlessly beating them down. When she finally cooled off and returned home, she found the family trailer engulfed in flames, her parents already dead inside. Before the fire department or the police could arrive, before anyone could ask questions she couldn't answer, Xiomara slipped away and disappeared. She would later resurface as Crush, a member of the Teen Titans. After countless missions with the Teen Titans, she and her teammate Djinn began investigating the truth behind her parents' deaths. Their search led them to her missing Obelus, stolen the day of the fire and now in the possession of Ezekiel, a dealer who had supplied the Rojases and whom they had stolen from. When Crush confronted him, Ezekiel confessed to everything. He had gone to the trailer offering to erase the Rojas' debt if they handed over Crush so he could sell her on the black market, but they refused. Enraged, he killed them and stole Obelus, the sentient chain that had been inside her pod when she first arrived on Earth. Ezekiel unleashed Obelus on her, but Crush regained control and nearly killed Ezekiel. Djinn stopped her, reminding her she didn't have to become the monster her father was, and Crush reluctantly spared him. Her path eventually crossed with Lobo himself when he came to Earth to fulfill a contract on the Teen Titans. He attacked Crush without hesitation, nearly killing her before Kid Flash was able to save her. After regrouping, the Teen Titans confronted Lobo again, only to realize that they had underestimated him. Djinn begged Crush to use the Obelus against him, despite her fear that the chain, which she believed was a gift from her father, might refuse to obey. She finally relented, and Obelus successfully restrained Lobo. During their confrontation, she learned that Obelus had never been a gift from Lobo. He hadn't even known she existed until he accepted the contract. When she demanded to know who her mother was, he was unable to tell her because he had no idea himself. The Teen Titans transported Lobo to the moon and left him there bound and stranded. As a half Czarnian, Crush possesses extraordinary physical power, strength capable of tearing through enemies, durability that lets her survive explosions, and stamina far beyond human limits. Her instincts and reflexes give her a feral edge in close combat, and her accelerated healing allows her to recover from injuries with remarkable speed. She wields Obelus, the sentient, nearly indestructible chain that has become her signature weapon. And with her mother's identity still unknown, her full potential remains a mystery. Well, that's the origin of the DC character Crush. Thanks for watching. Peace.